Hey friends, it's Mary Giordano, and welcome to Unapologetically Wild. Every single day, you have a choice. You can stay where you are, or you can step into the possibility of something even greater. And I'm here to spark that flame within you and inspire you to show up, embrace the fear, and do the fucking thing. Messy, scared, and real. Let's get started. Hey friends, welcome back to Unapologetically Wild. So I was on a Peloton ride the other day, one of Christine's rides, and she said something that just hit me. I'm paraphrasing, but it was something like, you need to unsubscribe from the newsletter that tells you you need permission. And I practically stopped pedaling for a second because that's it. The most important thing a woman in midlife can do is learn to trust her own yes again. When you want something, when something in you says yes, that's enough. You don't need to run it by anyone. You don't need to justify it. You don't need to wait until the timing is perfect or everyone around you is comfortable with it. Your yes gets to be the reason. And when a woman gets that back, when she actually operates from that place, everything changes. She's not stuck anymore. She's not spinning. She's not waiting for someone else to tell her it's okay to move. She just moves. She makes the decision, she signs up for the thing, she leaves the job, she goes on the trip, she stops apologizing for wanting more out of her own damn life. And that's what we're talking about today, agency. Your ability to make a decision about your own life without needing someone else to sign off on it. Because this is your life. You get to decide what you will and won't tolerate, and you don't need a single person's approval to do it. So let's talk about how you got here, why it's not your fault, and how you're going to start taking it back. Let's go. So why do women do this? Why do so many smart, capable women end up here? Because you were trained into it, starting when you were just a little girl. And I don't mean that in some abstract way. There is actual research on this. Girls are socialized from a really early age to accommodate, to be agreeable, to make everyone around them comfortable, to read the room and adjust before anyone has to ask. Boys, on the other hand, get told to take up space, speak up, go figure it out. Girls get told to be nice, be helpful, don't be too loud, don't be too much. Make sure everyone else is okay first. And you learned that lesson well. You learned it so well that by the time you were a teenager, it wasn't even a lesson anymore. It was just you. The girl who gets along with everyone, the girl who doesn't cause problems, the girl who makes things easier for the people around her. Then you grew up and walked into a workplace, and that same training kicked in without you even noticing. You watched men speak up in meetings with half the preparation you had and twice the confidence. You had the idea first, but you waited. You softened your language. You said, I think maybe we could, instead of, here's what we should do. You made yourself smaller so you wouldn't threaten anyone. And when you did speak up and got talked over, you let it go because that's what you were taught to do. Keep the peace. Don't make it a thing. And it followed you home too. I've had women tell me that they want to come on one of my group trips, and their next sentence, I just have to check with my husband. Not about money, not about calendar, just permission to do something for themselves. And these aren't necessarily women in controlling relationships. These are women who have been so deeply trained to run every decision through someone else that doing something just for themselves feels wrong. Like just wanting it isn't enough of a reason. Or it shows up quieter than that. You stay in a job you've outgrown because you can't point to a big enough reason to justify leaving. And without that reason, you don't trust your own restlessness. You talk yourself out of something you want because doing it alone feels like too much, or because no one around you is doing it, so maybe it's weird. Or maybe you feel like you're being selfish, or maybe you feel like you should just be grateful for what you have. And none of that feels like giving something away. It feels responsible, considerate, like what a good woman does. You defer, you accommodate, you wait, and you get rewarded for it. People tell you, oh, you're so thoughtful, so easy to be around, so selfless. So of course, the muscle atrophied. You were being congratulated for not using it. That's not a compliment. That's a cage with nice wallpaper. And I'm not saying go be mad at your parents or your partner or the world, even though you feel like you want to be. That doesn't get you anywhere. This is a pattern, and you didn't choose it. It was trained into you before you were old enough to know exactly what was happening. But the good news is a pattern is not a life sentence. It's just a pattern, and it only holds if you never see it. But once you do, you can't unsee it. You start catching it everywhere, and that's where things start to shift. Nothing is permanently wrong with you or wrong with you at all. You learned a pattern, and now I'm going to help you unlearn it. So here's what happens. You spend 20, 30, 40 years building a life around roles. You're the one who holds it together, the one who manages everything, the one people count on. And whether that's at work, at home, in your family, in your relationships, you got really good at it. That became your identity, the capable one, the reliable one, the one who's always fine. And then midlife hits and the ground shifts. Maybe the kids are grown or growing. Maybe the career that used to challenge you doesn't anymore. Maybe a relationship ends or changes shape. Maybe your body starts doing things that nobody prepared you for. Maybe you just wake up one morning and realize that the life you built doesn't match the one you actually want anymore. And what catches women off guard is you'd think that that would feel like freedom. Fewer people needing you, fewer obligations, more space than you've had in years. But it doesn't feel like freedom. It feels like free fall because you've been so busy holding everyone else's life together that you never built a framework for steering your own. You have the space now, but you don't know what to do with it. And for a lot of women, that's when depression hits. The CDC reports that women between 40 and 59 have the highest rate of depression of any age and gender group in the country. And I don't think that's because midlife is inherently depressing. I think it's because women arrive at this stage with more freedom than they've ever had and absolutely no practice using it. The roles they built their worth around are shifting. The identity they've carried for decades doesn't fit anymore, and nobody handed them a new one. So they sit in it. They tell themselves they should be happy. They have a good life. They should be grateful. And that gap between what they have and what they feel starts to eat them alive because it's not about what you have. It's about whether you're actually living a life you chose or just maintaining one you fell into. That's the midlife collision. Everything you've been doing on autopilot comes up for review, and you have to decide, am I going to keep maintaining or am I going to start fucking choosing? There is research, real peer-reviewed longitudinal research that shows your capacity for agency is actually peaking right now, not declining, but peaking. You know who you are better now than you ever have. Your confidence in your ability to impact your own life is higher than it was at 30. Your drive to do something meaningful beyond just getting through the day, that's increasing too. So I'm going to say it again so it sinks in. The woman you are right now, today, is more clear, more capable, and more ready than any previous version of yourself. Those years back there, they were not your best years. These years right now are. So here's the contradiction. You're more clear, more capable, and more internally equipped than you've ever been in your entire life. And you're still waiting. Somewhere between knowing what you want and actually doing something about it, there's a gap. And most women stay there for years, some forever. And you feel it every time you talk yourself out of something. Every time you say, maybe next year. Every time you know the answer but go looking for someone else to confirm it anyway. You're not confused. You're not lost, even though you feel like you might be. You know exactly what you want. You're just not trusting yourself enough to act on it yet. The problem was never capability. The problem is that you're sitting on all of this capacity and still waiting for someone to tell you it's okay to use it. And no one is coming to do that. There's a shift that happens in midlife that the research talks about too. Women move from defining themselves through relationships, being the good mom, the good wife, the good daughter, to focusing on impact. What do I want to leave behind? What matters to me? But nobody teaches you how to make that transition. So you feel the pull, but you don't know what to do with it. That's what agency gives you. It's the bridge between knowing what you want and actually going after it. So what do you actually do with all of this? Because awareness is great, but it doesn't change anything by itself. You can understand the pattern perfectly and still be stuck in it. So I want to talk about what it actually looks like to start rebuilding this muscle. What builds agency is making a decision and following through without consulting anyone, period. Not a single soul. And the action almost doesn't even matter. What matters is the loop. You decided, you did it, you didn't ask anyone else. That's a rep. And right now, you need reps. So here's what I want you to try. The next time you want something, and I mean something small, dinner at a specific restaurant, a class you want to take, something you want to buy, don't ask anyone. Don't text your friend to see if it's a good idea. Don't run it by your partner. Don't Google whether it's worth it. Just fucking do it. And then notice how uncomfortable that feels. That discomfort isn't a sign that you did something wrong. That's the muscle finally waking up. That's what it feels like when you start trusting yourself again after years of outsourcing it. And if you really want to accelerate this, pay attention to the phrase, "I'll have to check." Start catching yourself saying it, because 9 times out of 10, you already know your answer. You're not checking, you're stalling. You're looking for someone else to co-sign a decision you already made. So next time you catch it, replace it. Just say yes or no. Whatever your answer actually is, skip that middle step. And here's the bigger one. If there's a decision you've been sitting on for more than a couple of weeks, you already know your answer. You've known it for a while. You're not still thinking about it. You're just not trusting yourself enough to act on it. So stop researching, stop weighing pros and cons, stop asking one more person what they think. Decide and move. But I want to go a layer deeper here, because agency isn't just about other people. It's not just about who you're checking with. It's also about the ways you hold yourself back that have nothing to do with anyone else. It's waiting until you feel ready before you make a move. And I need you to hear me on this. Ready is a trap. It doesn't arrive. It's not coming. You will never feel 100% ready to leave the job, to start the thing, to go on the trip, to change your life. You just won't. The women who do those things aren't more ready than you are. They just decided that waiting was costing them more than the discomfort of moving. Agency is measuring your life against a timeline that was never yours to begin with. Comparing where you are to where you think you should be by now, that timeline is another form of outsourcing. You're letting some invisible standard run your life instead of asking yourself what you actually want it to look like. And it's shrinking yourself to fit a life you've outgrown because blowing it up feels too dramatic. So you stay, you accommodate, you tell yourself it's fine. But fine is not a life. Fine is a holding pattern. And I know you know the difference. Agency is locating the authority back inside yourself, not just what you order for dinner, in how you think about your entire life, in trusting that what you want is a good enough reason to do something without needing a crisis or a breaking point to justify the move. It's not going to feel natural at first. It's going to feel selfish or impulsive or reckless, and that's the training talking again. That's the old pattern telling you that a woman who makes decisions without checking is being irresponsible. She's not. She's being free. And every single rep builds evidence. And evidence is what changes belief. You don't think your way into trusting yourself. You act your way there, one decision at a time. The life you actually want isn't going to show up while you're thinking about it. It doesn't work that way. It shows up when you start making decisions like it's already yours. That's agency. And I know that because I've lived it. I left my 13-and-a-half-year nursing career with a very loose plan. No safety net, just a knowing that the life I was living wasn't the life I wanted. That was me taking authority over my own life back. And I built something I love, not because I was ready, not because I had it all figured out, but because I decided to trust myself more than I trusted the fear.
That's what's available to you right now, not someday, now. And no one else is coming to live your life for you.
Thanks for tuning in today. If this episode hit home, subscribe and share it with a friend, because together we can bring more women into this wild, unapologetic space. Remember, waiting until you feel ready is the fastest way to nowhere. So show up, embrace the fear, and do the fucking thing. And don't forget to subscribe to my Unapologetically Wild Chronicles. The links to the show notes. Until next time, stay wild.